M0FXB. Let's talk Yaesu FTX-1. I've been reading the manual thoroughly for the last few days, a couple of videos out on it. A couple of bits that I've spotted. So the Bluetooth unit, which is called the BU6, is actually the BU5 with an extra small cover. So on the side of the right hand side of the FTX-1, there's a little square window that you can take off, and the new cover protrudes outwards slightly to enable room for it's actually the BU5, same as what you've got on the FTM150. I've actually got a BU5, so I'll be able to test Bluetooth straight away. I haven't got the cover though, but I'm sure that they sell them. And as far as I can see, it's just for, you know, your earpiece for the SSM B20, and I think there's the older model. Is it B10? I'm sure they'll work, and it may pair with other Bluetooth devices, but I find with the Yaesu Bluetooth, it'll pair with quite a lot of things as a speaker and an earpiece, you know, but not so great on the old PTT. The other thing I'm picking up on is there's definitely no HDMI out or DVI out. So basically external display. So your other option would be to use the SCU LAN, which isn't really an external display that's taken from your radio, but software and the Ethernet, or Ethernet, and it can be used wirelessly once you have it connected to one item, is used to then display a very impressive external screen anywhere in the world and to have remote control. But no one knows if they're going to implement this. Now, I'd be very surprised if they don't, but the bottom line is, how are they going to connect, how are they going to get everything from the radio to the SCU LAN? Because there's a couple of connectors there that we connect on our Yaesu FTX-10 type radios 101. So there's an interesting one there. At the moment, that's up in the air, and even Martin Lynch were looking and can't see the options yet. But you can't rule anything out on that. Now, it's definitely not for duplex, although it's dual receive. So, certain questions people always ask. One is it for duplex? And they'll even turn around and say, if it's not, I won't buy it. Now, this is a very repeated comment. I think a lot of people don't even know what full duplex means. It basically means that when you transmit, say on the A band, or receive, you can transmit on the other band. So you could be listening to someone talking, transmit on the B band, and you will still hear the person talking on the B band. I'm pretty sure FTM150 does that. So it definitely won't do that. Not that I don't find it a very useful feature, to be honest. I mean, I get it, but for some people, they say they need it for satellite, and I saw the video from Martin Lynch saying it's no good for satellite. But it is good for satellite. Yeah, it's a dual bander. You can do satellite on a Bofung. That's only single receive. But yeah, you have to use memory channels. You have to put small bit of work setting up the receive and the transmit frequencies, but definitely usable for satellite. Probably look quite smart using satellite on that device. So there's another point. Now, a friend of mine, Blake, sent me a screenshot of the instruction manual, and it shows selections in the settings for averaging. Now, averaging is a big deal to many people because it's something that is on the Icom radios, and don't forget, people love the Icom radio waterfall, and so it's there in the settings. Now, Martin Lynch didn't mention averaging, but it's there in the settings, page 73. Take a look. And but obviously, without actually using a radio, we don't know if it actually will change the averaging, because I know that there is averaging when you use the SCU LAN. The other thing that I've been being asked is, why is there an extra tuner connector on the actual back of the radio? Yeah, well, that's obvious, because you don't have to use their tuners. And is there an antenna tuner built into the rear module? Yes, the rear module, when you see it, it's literally like the back of your radio. It's like having a 991. Mazzy wants to come off the lead a minute. Right, let her off. She's off going up this hill, which takes us up to the woods. So The rear of this radio looks the same as the rear of any other shack-in-the-box radio. It's got 3 antenna ports, it's got a fan out the back, it's got a proper DC input. I mean, you're not talking one of these tiny little skinny things. It's the proper 4-pin DC input. Then you've got connectors that you're going to need for an amplifier and things. You know, speaker, sorry, I'm going up a hill now. So it's a proper back end of a radio. It isn't, you know, like a hollow box with that's on the back. It's going to look and feel like you're picking up an actual radio, the SP1. Yeah, we're just getting up towards the woods now. Beautiful, isn't it? England is beautiful. So the next thing is looking good. Let's get back to the display now. Of course, many people don't like the 3DS. The 3DS is very impressive, and I think if you really look closely, it's actually giving you some very interesting information, because it floats like on a bed of water in 3D, and you can literally see these little signals poking up and down. It's actually fascinating, but visually the ICOM waterfall is the one that actually is easier just to tune around. You can sort of imitate it in the settings on all of the Yaesu 101, DX10, 710. But it's never as good as the ICOM. Now they've added the averaging thing, maybe it'll be nearer to it. So yeah, obviously there's a microphone that plugs into the head unit. They've got the GPS module, which is only small, plugs into either a 2.5, 3.5 jack there on the side. So I don't see a problem with that. I wonder why they didn't try and squeeze it in there. I wonder if it was an afterthought. APRS, of course, and then they are talking C4 FM. I haven't actually specifically heard them say PDN. I think in passing someone said PDN software is being designed. So that'll get you onto the real Wires X system, you know, the type on your desktop PC. So then it's back to you know, availability and price. I mean, in the UK, I feel like we've been hit quite hard because probably the taxes coming into the UK are quite high, because the prices in the USA seem okay. Here, 1,600 just for the front, and then 2,069 with no extras for basically the shack in the box 100 watt, and it is 50 watt VHF and UHF according to the specs that I've read. You're talking at least, I would say, 3 weeks till we get it. And to those people that say no one's going to buy it, so many, I reckon 50 people have messaged me and said that. All of the pre-orders are sold out. You know, these things are going to sell like hotcakes, because there's a lot of hams out there with lots of money, you know, and it's a good product. It's a nice looking product. I completely agree. £1,200 would have been nice. Of course I agree. I buy my radios. And then the next one is, should I sell my 705 to get this? Well, if you want the Yaesu experience and the ICOM experience, no. Use them both. Sell it and what? Put it in only in the bank, and then when you die it's just sat there. Enjoy your radios. Stay healthy. Live longer. Eat well. Give up smoking. Play radio forever. So overall, it's a fantastic device. It's a bit of a game changer because they've never done a radio that will do this, that can be both. You know, it's one or the other. And even the QRP ones, they don't tend to be VHF, UHF. So it is a game. It is a game changer. Of course it is. And think about the millions they have to spend to develop this product, then arrange for all the parts that it's going to need, the manufacturing process, you know, the boxing it up, the software for the programming, and to make sure it's firmware and firmware upgradable for years, to try and include everything that hams want. You're talking massive development here, massive, all compact into this tiny little unit. Because I know people think, oh my god, that thing's tiny, I've got to pay £2,000 for it, £2,000. That's amazing. That's amazing. Look at your phones. And they're not, well, I suppose they are radios in a way, really. They're 4G radios. Anyway, thanks for watching my YouTube channel. Much appreciated. I'm sure I've missed lots. It's definitely going to be a big seller. To all the people that say it's going to be a bad seller, wake up. It's the latest model, the great thing. And there are 3 million hams in the world. They're going to sell, they're going to be, it's going to be a bestseller for years. Is it going to be the only seller? Of course it's not. You think ICOM aren't going to come back with something, and Kenwood and mainly ICOM, and you think that the Chinese companies aren't going to try and make something similar? Of course they are. That's business. 7-3, all the best.